Hello. So as everyone noticed, good old By Blood Alone came out today, and I picked it up. I think I'm gonna still go back and finish my Soviet campaign. I think it's the point we probably won it, but I think I'm gonna go back and finish it. If you've got any thoughts on that, feel free to let me know in the comments section. But the main thing I wanted to show off today is the new air designer system a little bit. Now, most of you have seen the new air designer system. If you're playing the game, you know what it is. There's two things with it I think is pretty messed up that I'm almost certain Paradox will change just because they do not make sense. Step one, transport plane. Only costs 4 production cost. Look at a single seat fighter. Even the most basic one. No parts to it. 18. A 4-to-1 difference, more than 4-to-1 difference, where a large airframe, just a basic stripped-down airframe, is 32. I could see this being 32 on a transport plane. I do not see it only being 4, because right now you can produce an absolutely metric boatload of, a season, but you could produce an absolute metric boatload of transport planes for absolutely almost no cost. And then you could be running mass air supply missions. Granted, your air supply missions do cost command power, but still, air supply is a very, 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 very powerful ability, especially if you're not even using mechanized units or units that require oil on the ground. If you're doing just pure infantry, I mean, you could stack as many infantry pretty much as you want in a tile if you had enough planes to do enough air supply. Now, eventually, of course, within reason, you'd run out of command power to make that happen. But it's you get the point of that's not realistic at all. So I would fully expect Paradox to change the production cost of an air transport plane. Secondly, let me illustrate something. So take a look at the BF-109. Apparently, it's the D variant, basic single seat air superiority fighter. So looking at it, we've got 2 engines. We go down to just, excuse me, that was incorrect. We've got 1 engine tier 2. So we can go to 1 engine tier 1, 350 speed, okay? 1 engine tier 2, 490 speed. Now what the heck's going on, once again, with the numbers? 490 versus 300. But we put it in there, we're going to see 140 speed drop, despite the fact there's only 100 difference on the base speeds. So the difference is thrust. How much extra thrust you have over your weight gets converted to extra speed. That seems like a good thing, but at least my impression from the dev diary was only going to be like a small amount of thrust gets converted into speed. Oh no, it is a metric shit ton. A metric shit ton is the technical term, because I'm showing off on the single seat fighter here. We're going to push it to the logical extreme in a second. But so let's remember, the normal BF-109 has 490. Let's throw 2 planes on, 2 engines on it, tier 2 engines. Suddenly we're up to 610 speed on a single seat fighter, because now we have 2 engines on the airplane. Well, what happens when we put 6? Let's find out. So, it's going to find our large airframe, which is right in front of me, and I'm not seeing it. Interwar large airframe. There we go. So, with a single, 4 engines, tier 1 is 440. Okay, that seems like a normal number, especially considering that our air superiority fighter we were looking at there is 490. Okay, makes sense. Little zippy fighter, much faster than the big, heavy, slow bomber. People should get that. Now, let's crank this. You put 6 engines on this bad boy tier 2, so we're zooming at almost 1,000 max speed potentially. Now, yes, you need to throw some weapons on it, but okay, let's just throw some basic bombs on it. We can still strap bomb. It's not a whole lot of strap bombing. It's 30. That's pretty good. But look at that. We got 860. Those fighters are going to have such a goddamn hard time catching up with this bomber. It's not even funny. Sure, our agility's low. It sucks. But because of all that thrust, over the top, being converted into max speed, I see this as an issue. Now, we can keep adding bombing bays, really crank this up and get it down to a much more reasonable speed. 560 is still way faster than our fighter. So let's keep throwing things up. Let's throw up defensive turrets. More defensive turrets. Okay, finally down to 480. Nope. Let's get down to 480. Get it lower, excuse me. How many defensive turrets can we put on this thing? I don't know. Let's find out. Weight exceeds thrust. Okay. So, to get it down to a reasonable point where it's actually got a speed that looks realistic for this bomber, 400, we're going to be suddenly cranking out 120 strat bombing. And I don't have an issue with that, although the strat bombing value looks very high for this plane, considering what you're doing. Granted, no freaking agility at all. But what I foresee as being an issue is you just make speed strat bombers like I just showed off there. And there's going to be your little zippy single seat fighters, which should be your fastest fighters in the game, literally cannot catch it. You cannot catch this with the current tech level. And that is a higher tier zippy fighter versus the basic ass tier of strat bomber. That is a huge freaking issue. So, I foresee Paradox rebalancing that. And in their defense, if you look at these, the main difference is supposed to be the thrust to make it so you can put on extra weight. It's not supposed to be you have a whole bunch of extra thrust so it can get converted into extra speed and suddenly turn your inner war strat bomber into the fastest plane, that you can have at the beginning. And this is only on the basic engines. I'm predicting if you throw the tier 4 engines on here, this plane could probably break the speed of sound, with little propellers. So I get what they were going for, but that balancing just seems like it's completely borked. This is one of the main reasons when a new DLC comes out for Paradox, I do not start a major campaign just because I know they're going to be rebalancing things. Things are borked. I want them to get it all ironed out, and then I'll begin my campaign. So, yeah, I'm not particularly surprised by that. It's kind of egregious, but, that's just how it goes. So, those are the things I wanted to point out that I expect Paradox to be tweaking and finishing in the next bit there, so you're aware. So if you are like me and wanting to start a new campaign, I highly suggest you think about waiting, or if you do a campaign, do not get attached to it, because there is a high chance they will be fixing that. And frankly, I think they should be fixing that, because once again, it is downright freaking egregious. Yeah, 4 production points for a transport plane. That's okay. So those two things I predict will be getting fixed probably, within a single week after people light up the forums about it. I'm mostly doing this video as a PSA. I'll probably go post it on the forums too. So, thank you for watching. Those are my thoughts on it. And good luck and happy times with By Blood Alone. Take care. Bye.